Madam Speaker, I'm very happy to yield 5 minutes to my friend and colleague, the gentlelady from New Hampshire, Ms. Shea-Porter.
The gentlelady from New Hampshire is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is a very important debate. 4 long years, and we are searching our souls. We have sent our finest and our bravest soldiers on a mission that made no sense from the beginning. Our nation was attacked by evil people who trained in Afghanistan. We were right to go into Afghanistan to remove the terrorist training camps. As a matter of fact, we should be working even harder there to make sure our Afghanistan mission does not fail. We must not allow the Taliban and other terrorist groups to control Afghanistan again. However, we are unable to give Afghanistan our full attention because our president has led us into a war with Iraq. Why? There were no Iraqis on the plane that day. The Iraqis had no weapons of mass destruction, and they never asked us to come to their country. They do ask us to leave, though, and yet we won't leave. The president won't listen to the Iraqis. The president won't listen to the American people. The president won't listen to the world. But Congress will. We are ready to go in a new direction and say no to the president and no to his plan to escalate this war. I was a military spouse, and I am very, very proud of my husband's service. I am also on the Armed Services Committee. I know our troops need our support, and they have it. But troops also need to know that their leaders will make sure that their mission is in the best interest of the United States before they are asked to go fight and die for their country. I watched a young soldier walk down a ramp on the way to Iraq. He was looking at all of us, and we were looking hard back at him, and I think most of us had the same thoughts in our hearts, that we could not look him in the eye and tell him that his mission was so essential to the security of the United States and the freedom of the world that he had to go and he had to die if necessary. And why couldn't we tell him that? Because the mission had changed. Several times the president told us why we were there, and it was always a different reason. And the mission had changed, and therefore the soldier looked confused, and we certainly felt confused also, because we couldn't tell him why we were there. I wanted to run up to him and tell him, I support you. I support you by making sure that you never get sent to a war again unless we know why you are there. What is this talk I've heard tonight about freedom and liberty? This talk of glory that I've heard on the floor, this romanticized language, this talk about Davy Crockett. There's no Davy Crockett in Iraq. Our troops need clear-eyed leaders, not this romantic rabble that we've been hearing. This war has cost us. We have paid a terrible price. Our military troops are strained. Yes, they are strained. Their families are strained. Our brave soldiers have died or they've been injured. The Iraqis have lost their lives. They've lost their society. They've lost their infrastructure. They're losing their middle class who are moving to other countries to keep their children safe. Their people are fleeing from their own country. We are wary. They are wary. The world is now more dangerous. Iraqis were polled, and the majority of them said they wanted the Americans to go home and let them work out their problems. For 4 years, the administration and its supporters here have made no plan for them to do that. Now they ask us on this side of the aisle what our plan is. This is a strange question, but it shows how confused this administration and its supporters are, that they're looking to us and ask us what our plan is. They've been offered plans. They even commissioned a plan, and they don't follow any plans. The president follows his own way. We've offered plans. They won't listen. I, for one, want the United States to succeed in this world. Therefore, I'm going to listen to all of the generals who have pled with the president and pled with the president's supporters and this administration to do the right thing here. But the president doesn't listen. Now I am going to vote to tell the president that I am against his escalation. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I yield back my time.